was thinking about this the other day. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but Keir Starmer had this big reshuffle. Okay. And basically, he what they do is you get somebody like Yvette Cooper, who was the Home Secretary. And so she's beginning to talk about getting the boats under control, and she's getting into the job, and she's a couple of years into it. And then you come along and you say, right, enough there. We're going to stick you into a completely different job now. You're now the Foreign Secretary?
Yeah.
You've got to learn the ropes of being a Foreign Secretary now. And as for the Home Secretary, we're going to put somebody else in, and they're going to take 2 years to get a grip of what's going on here. So it's like the British cabinet system is purpose made to ensure that your management structure never, ever beds down and does its work. It's constantly shifting. Managers here, there, and everywhere, changing jobs every 6 months, every 18 months. And as a consequence, your business will never grow and never prosper. And it's like there's not a business in the world that runs its management like that. And so I just feel that this cabinet system that we have does not help good governance at all.
No.
And they appoint people. I always make a wee joke about it. It's like they say they must all be sitting about there and they go, we need a defense secretary. Who knows anything about defense? And if it was me, I could say, well, my dad used to be in the army between 1968 and 1971 or whatever it was. I think it was earlier. And they go, Alistair, brilliant. You can be our defense secretary. You know, literally that would be my knowledge of defense. And I've got a Battle of Britain flag at home. Brilliant. You must be into you must be into this field. We'll let you be the defense secretary. I mean, that's really what it is. What they really need is like, okay, who's the biggest and best brain in Britain about defense? It's going to be an academic or an ex-army general, or it's going to be something like that. And you say, right, get him in to do it. And in our system, what that would mean is you would need to ennoble the person to the House of Lords. Once he's in the House of Lords, he can then be brought into the cabinet. You can bring in lords and others from the House of Lords. Now, of course, the media would scream that was so undemocratic, but at least you've got an expert in, and you can say that's your job for 5 years, and these are your targets. And if you don't meet these targets, okay, we will have to replace you. But basically, you're in there for the duration. Make a good job of it, or we'll get rid of you. And that would, to my view, would be a far better way of running a country than all this cabinet nonsense and appointing people who have no knowledge whatsoever, who just happen to have been elected. Or just like, okay, so you're like a 27-year-old who got elected for like Hartlepool or something like that. You can be the whatever secretary. It's just ridiculous to my view. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I couldn't agree more with you. I said the same about civil servants as well. I do the American system where you can bring in your own civil servants so they can't hold you up like we get now. Yes, Prime Minister, delay tactics, all that stuff. That was one thing that came out of the Reform Conference where Farage said he's going to pass a law where he can assemble a cabinet of all the talents, he said. So somebody could serve in cabinet and they don't have to be an MP. You can actually just bring in an expert. Like he's brought in that Colin Sutton who caught Levi Belfield, that criminal, didn't he? The child killer. He's now advising them on crime. He's got that woman that used to run a prison. I can't think of her name now. She's got questionable beliefs, but nevertheless, she knows the field at least. She knows what prisons are like. She's speaking for them on prisons. Such a better system. The problem is for Reform that if they do win the next election, they've got a House of Lords stuffed to the gills and growing all the time with Tories, Lib Dems, and Labour. So what they're going to have to do, and it's not popular this, and I don't like it either because I want the Lords shrunk by about 75%. But what Farage is going to have to do is appoint about 500 Lords as soon as he becomes Prime Minister, just to try and have a majority in the House of Lords so he can actually pass things through. Otherwise, he's going to get bogged down every time he tries to pass something. And you're right about the cabinet system. We end up with people that have no idea about the jobs they're in. Look at this current lot. The only person, and this is frightening, the best one they've got for the role that she's in is Rachel Reeves. And look at the state of the economy. She's the only person that's worked in banking. Not one of the current cabinet has ever worked in private business. Not one of them has ever owned a business. Wes Streeting has never worked in health. You know, what's Peter Kyle ever done on trade or trade and business? Nothing. He's never worked in a business or trade. And this is the problem. We've got all these union activists, overgrown students, I call them, who are now in all these responsible positions, and they're just being led by the nose by the civil service. And that's the problem with this country. And it's why nothing ever gets done.